What happened to you? You disappeared.
Yeah, I think it was probably the best decision that I've made, and one of the best decisions I've made in my life.
There are some famous weddings that aren't all cute and fancy behind the scenes. Not only are a lot of stars rich and popular, but they also get into trouble. Why do they have to stay in these unions? Does it have to do with the thought of change, the fear of losing in public, or something else? We're going to talk about why even the biggest stars stay in bad relationships sometimes today. Stick around to discover the untold truths that might surprise you. How fame and charm can trap even the strongest. Let's say you were a movie star. Everyone is happy to see you, they know your name, and your life seems great. Even in a world full of cameras and glitter, love isn't always as magical as it seems. The person who sweeps you off your feet might be keeping lies from you that could turn a dream into a nightmare. Fame brings money and respect, even though it can be hard at times. When you're famous, everyone wants a piece of your life. Some people are drawn to celebrities for all the wrong reasons, like money, fame, or power. To get close, they put on a show. They are nice and supportive, making them seem like the perfect partner. But when the cameras stop, you can see their real colors. Stars have a perfect facade that makes it hard for them to find real love. Being famous already makes your life like a movie set, where nothing is what it seems to be. When you have a friend who is acting, it's much harder to tell the difference between real and fake feelings. This is why some of the biggest stars in Hollywood have dated people who were never really right for them. Fame seems like the answer to all problems, even though it comes with some problems. Loneliness is one of the hardest. Imagine being with people you care about but not feeling like they really know you. Stars often feel alone, so they are more likely to fall for someone who cares about them, whether they are real or not. Someone else's pressure is to always be on. Stars are always playing, even when they're not on set. Because they are used to everything looking great, they might not notice the cracks in their relationships. Red flags like jealousy, demanding behavior, or relying on money too much could be ignored, especially if the partner is very good at hiding their main goals. They live in a world where most people rarely say no. This might make it harder for them to spot when someone is trying to trick them or stop doing something bad. When everyone agrees with you all the time, it's easy to miss when someone close to you is breaking your trust. Check out Kevin Federline and Britney Spears. Their relationship seemed like something out of a fairy tale with lots of twists and turns. Still, cracks begin to show up over time. Because of what Kevin did and why he did it, it was hard to tell if he really loved Britney or was more interested in how she lived. John Goodman and Jesse James then show up. These two people, America's sweetheart and the rough-around-the-edges biker, couldn't have been more different. Behind the scenes, though, Jesse's actions ruined that picture and made Sandra very sad. Also, who could forget about Blake Fielder Civil and Amy Winehouse? Even though their love was passionate, it turned into something bad that made Amy's issues worse. These are just a few cases, but they show a problem that keeps coming up. People who look perfect at first glance are often not. People in regular life also feel this way, but you might think it's only true for famous people. Everyone knows someone who fell in love with the wrong person and didn't listen to advice because they were in love or thought they could change their partner. Celebrities are different because everyone can see when they make a mistake. Their stories remind us of our own in a way. Romance can easily hold your attention, especially when the other person is acting so well. But the sparkle and charm can only hide so much. The truth is usually messy and hard to deal with when it comes out, no matter who you are, a movie star or a regular person. Everything is bigger in the world of fame, including love, sadness, and mistakes. Even though it may seem impossible, celebs have the same problems with love as everyone else. We will learn more about these stories to find out how these relationships that seemed perfect fell apart and what lessons we can learn from them. Fame can't protect you from bad relationships. Discover how even the most beloved celebrities ended up with the wrong partners. A love that shattered between Britney and Kevin. Before the 2000s, Britney Spears was one of the most well-known people in the world. She had hit songs, shows that were packed, and fans who stuck with her. People who are very successful do have problems in their personal lives, though. Britney's story shows that love can break your heart. If you're interested, here's Kevin Federline, a cool and friendly backup dancer. Britney saw him, even though not many people knew who he was. They became crazy about each other and fell in love very quickly after meeting. They told everyone they were getting married, but it was really a few months ago. The whole world was shocked and thrilled. Brie seemed to have found her prince. It all seemed like a dream at first. She looked lovely, and Kevin looked like a great husband. Some parts of their life were shown on the reality show Britney and Kevin, chaotic. The show also showed how their relationship had happy and sad times. It's true that not everything that shines is gold, though. Things went badly between them very quickly. Before he met Britney, Kevin's life was pretty normal. In an instant, he was the center of attention. As word got out about how he behaved, how careless he was, and whether he really cared about Britney, he became famous. Some people said he was more interested in how she looked than who she was. They were married for just 2 years. Things went badly when they broke up in 2006. Reporters were really interested in Britney and Kevin's fight over who would get to keep their 2 young boys. The news talked about their messy breakup for days. What was going on with Britney personally at the time, like a public breakdown, made things even worse for her. Kevin got to keep the kids, but Britney had to pay him a lot of money for child support. A lot of people thought she had been ripped off, which made her feel bad. Kevin seemed to leave the scene with more than he had when they first met. Britney was left to start over with her life. What can we learn from Kevin and Britney's story? We think it shows that love is hard for everyone, even Britney, who is very skilled and well-known. It's fun to fall in love, but getting too involved too quickly can cause issues you didn't expect. Things went badly for Britney when her trust and hopes for a happy family were broken. This case also shows how fame can make relationships worse. Every mistake, fight, and bad choice stands out when you are always in the spotlight. Britney's weakness was clear, and she didn't find a loving partner. Instead, she met someone who made her problems worse. On the other hand, Britney's story is one of strength. She has never given up on her family and happiness, no matter what. When a woman breaks up with someone, her life shows how to get back up and keep going. Her strength shows how strong hope and willpower can be. Sandra and Jesse's rocky journey. For a long time, Sandra Bullock was one of Hollywood's most loved stars. As a result of her cute smile, friendly personality, and amazing skills, she became known as America's sweetheart. So, when she married reality TV star Jesse James, a biker with a lot of tattoos, everyone was a little shocked. It was hard not to be interested in their usual example of how opposed things attract each other. In 2003, Sandy met Jesse at the Monster Garage set with her godson. Even though he was tough, Jesse fell in love with Sandra right away. They became more and more in love very quickly, and in 2005 they had a small, secret wedding. For a while it felt like a story. Sandra loved being Jack's stepmother to his kids from past relationships, and she often talked about how kind and helpful Jacek was. A lot of people liked the thought of Sandra and Jesse being together. He was rude and rebellious, while she was classy and in charge. Everyone was amazed by their love story, but they didn't seem to get along. Jesse kept working on his business, and Sandra kept having great success with hit movies and parts that won awards. But bad things happened in 2010, just as Sandra was celebrating her Oscar win for The Blind Side. People found out that Jesse had been cheating on his wife a lot, and other women spoke out. Everyone was shocked by the news stories that kept drawing a picture of betrayal. What they said was terrible. Sandra didn't think Jesse would cheat on her that much, so she was shocked when he did. It made the news even more exciting that reporters were following her around like crazy while she dealt with this very personal loss. Sandra turned down the divorce and focused on her new son Louis. She was always stylish. Jesse accepted that he was wrong and felt bad about it, but it was too late. The lie didn't change Sandra into a different person. She was able to get over her sadness by focusing on her family, her job, and her own fun. Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio. At the time, Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio were one of the most talked about couples. She was a blonde bombshell and a Hollywood star when she was at the height of her fame. Once a baseball star, Joe was known for his speed and ease. They stood for fame, success, and star power all at the same time. Even though it seemed like a good match, their relationship was anything but ideal. When they started going out together in 1952, everyone fell in love with them right away. Marilyn seemed to need a man like Joe who was reliable and caring. Marilyn lit up the room. In 1954, they got married in a small ceremony. Fans were happy for two famous people when they got married because they thought they were happy together. But their relationship wasn't strong, and right away there were signs of trouble. Joe kept to himself and liked the usual roles in a marriage. That woman should put their family first and not be seen by other people. Marilyn, on the other hand, was a growing star who needed help with her business. She liked playing and felt very alive in Hollywood. But Joe thought she should do something else. Controlling each other and being jealous caused a lot of trouble in their marriage. People at work and Marilyn's fans paid her a lot of attention, which Joe didn't like. In The 7-Year Itch, her famous scene in a white dress where her skirt hangs over a train grate changed everything. The scene made Joe angry because he thought it was disrespectful to their marriage, but fans loved it. Their fights got worse, and Joe did some risky things because he was scared. It made Marilyn feel stuck and alone. She wanted to be safe and loved. The stress level went up, and their fights would sometimes spill over into their home lives. Marilyn felt good about herself and wanted to be on her own, but Joe had to be in charge. This was a bad situation that neither person could get out of. She asked for a divorce after 9 months of marriage because she thought her husband was mental cruelty. A lot of news sites talked about the breakup, and they all had ideas about what went wrong. Joe stayed in Marilyn's life and took care of her after they split up. At times, he seemed to even try to help her through tough times at work and in her personal life. The story of Marilyn and Joe is often used to show how fame and ego can bring down relationships. Since Joe used to be in charge of sports stars, it was hard for him to keep up with Marilyn's rise to fame. Not only was he envious of her male fans and co-stars, but he also felt left out in a world where Marilyn was the star. Marilyn, on the other hand, had to choose between wanting to do well at work and wanting to be loved and respected. She wanted to find a partner who would help her reach her goals, but the person she was with constantly questioned her right to be alone. Their relationship shows how dangerous it can be when your ideas about love aren't the same as someone else's. They loved each other a lot, but getting married was hard because they were different. She and Joe were both scared and wanted to be free, which made them fight over and over. Amy Winehouse and Blake Civil. She was a star that only came around once every age. This made her one of the most recognized singers of her time. People all over the world loved her deep voice and honest emotional songs. She was kind, but her personal life was very chaotic, and her relationship with Blake Civil was a big part of that. They fall in love, make bad decisions, and bad things happen in their story. Amy and Blake met in a London pub in 2005. Even though he wasn't well known, Amy liked him right away because he was cool and edgy. They fell in love very quickly because it was so strong. Amy's famous record Back to Black got some of its ideas from Blake. Songs like Rehab and Love is a Losing Game show how their relationship went up and down. Still, their love wasn't whole. They were both addicted, and they rarely helped each other get better. Instead, they sometimes made each other do bad things. After some time, Blake revealed that he hooked Amy up on hard drugs, which was the start of her falling. They were in a bad relationship because they both used drugs. They fell in love, fought, broke up, and then got back together. Amy and Blake got married quickly and at a small party in Miami in 2007. Things were going well for Amy's business at that point, But things were getting worse in her personal life. There were pictures of them being beaten and bleeding after public fights, which showed how unstable their relationship was. It got worse for Amy's family and friends as her health and behavior got worse. In more ways than just the drugs they used together, people said he was in charge of her feelings and pushed her toward crazy behavior instead of her own health. Even though they loved each other very much, their relationship was unhealthy because neither person could stop the other off the track. Blake was caught and jailed in 2008 for his part in an attack that was meant to change the way justice was done. This was the worst place. Amy had a tough time while he was locked up. She told him straight out that she loved him, but being apart didn't make things better. Instead, she became more dependent on drugs and alcohol, and she always looked weak and lost in public. In 2009, they were no longer married, but the damage had already been done. Amy's health was much worse now, and it was hard for her to concentrate on her songs. She could not escape the pain of her drugs and past, not even when she was in rehab for a short time. In 2011, when she was 27, Amy Winehouse died of too much drinking. The music business lost a great star when she died, and it was a sad reminder of how dangerous drugs and bad relationships can be. Amy and Blake's story shows how love can make people do bad things. Because they loved each other so much, they couldn't see how hurtful their actions were to each other. This made their relationship as harmful as it was emotional. They stopped helping each other and started making the worst things about each other worse. The way they are together shows how dangerous it can be to emotionally and physically count on love. It's almost impossible for two people who are heavily involved in harmful behaviors to feel safe. Any strong bonds can break when bad habits make it hard to set boundaries and get help. Amy Winehouse died, but her music lives on and speaks to people all over the world. It's important to remember to get help, set limits, and put yourself first in partnerships after hearing her story. This shows us how important it is to be with people who support and help us, instead of those who involve us in their problems. Hollywood marriages aren't always fairy tales. Discover the hidden traits of toxic partners in the spotlight. Common traits of terrible people in Hollywood marriages. Some Hollywood marriages look like fairy tales, but they are actually full of unhealthy habits that hurt each other instead of making them happy. This kind of marriage is full of terrible people who hurt their famous partners when the cameras aren't rolling. Let's take a look at these steps and what they do. Charm can be very helpful in some places, like Hollywood. A lot of the time, cheating partners use their charm to get their famous wives to marry them. They seem worried, interested, and helpful at first, but this is just a front for what they really want. When someone feels good about themselves, they can use their charm to take power in a military way. When someone is manipulative, they might make their partner look weak so they can blame them for their guilt or happiness or make them give up something. The well-known person may come to understand who is in charge over time, but the mental damage has already been done. A protective partner is often a sign of a bad relationship because it leads to control and separation. In a lot of Hollywood couples, this starts out slowly. A star's partner could tell them they can't hang out with friends, meet fans, or do certain jobs. They may say it's to protect them, but what they really want is to keep them from getting help. Being alone makes famous people feel stuck and helpless, and it gives abusive partners more power. It can be very bad to lose your friends and family when you're famous, which makes it harder to leave a bad relationship. In the same way, shady people are drawn to celebs' fame and wealth. Abuse of money is often at the heart of Hollywood movies about bad marriages. Some couples use their famous partners to get out of debt, fund risky business deals, or live a lavish lifestyle. If things go really badly, they could steal money from their partner without telling them. This breach hurts stars more because it's not just about money, it's also about trust. People who are abused financially often feel like they are being used and not valued. It makes a deal between one person that shouldn't have been a connection. If you're getting married in Hollywood, Cheating is another sign of a bad partner. They might cheat on you because they are insecure, want praise, or enjoy keeping something from you. It hurts celebs the most because their stories are always in the news, making their pain public. Beating your partner makes you feel bad about yourself, looks bad in public, and makes it hard to get your confidence back. This is something that a lot of stars still have a hard time with, even if they break up. One of the sneakiest things that bad spouses might do is hurt you emotionally. It does a lot of damage, but it doesn't leave scars like physical abuse does. Emotional abusers make their victims feel less important by doing things like gaslighting, which means they make their partner doubt reality, or criticizing them all the time. It's important for Hollywood stars to think about how they look, and mental abuse can make them doubt their skills, looks, or worthiness. This makes you question yourself and depend on other people, which gives the toxic partner more power. Why celebrities stay in toxic marriages? Hollywood is known for having a darker side that is hidden from the cameras and red carpets. Many well-known people find it hard to end bad relationships, even if they are rich and could start over. Public opinion has a big impact on this. Well-known people are afraid that getting divorced will hurt their job, image, and public name. Some people stay in bad relationships because they don't want to lose. People also stay with someone because they think that person will change or that the love they had before will come back. A lot of people get stuck in legal issues like fighting over child custody and splitting assets. A lot of famous people are afraid of what will happen if they get divorced in public and in a messy way. People in the public eye may think that changing would make things worse when they are lonely and on their own. Fear of what people will think is a big reason why famous people stay in bad relationships. Because of this, stars feel like they have to live a life straight out of a fairy tale. If the couple's marriage was well known, getting a divorce can be seen as a failure. When celebrities break up with someone, they worry that it will hurt their image, cause them to lose their job, or make people look down on them. They stay married longer than they should because they don't want to hurt their reputation. This means that they have to deal with mental pain and personal problems alone. A lot of well-known people stay with bad partners because they want them to change. Most of the time, people think that time, love, or work will make their relationships better. When two people are close mentally or when there are kids involved, this hope is very strong. These people might believe that their partner will either stop being bad, become the person they loved in the first place, or get better. It's a bad way to think, because bad habits don't change without help or a desire to change on both sides. This way of thinking can cause years of emotional pain. Another big reason why famous people stay in bad marriages is that it's hard to get a divorce. When property and money are at stake, it can be hard to settle child custody and money disagreements. Some famous people may feel stuck in their marriage because they don't want the stress and trouble of a legal split. The possible effects on money, like child support, alimony, or asset division, are enough to make many people think twice before going ahead. People might stay in a bad marriage longer than they should because they don't want to lose their kids or get into a long court fight. People who are famous often feel alone. Stars may feel like no one really gets how hard things are for them, even though media, fans, and staff are always around them. People around them might care more about how they look than how they are doing because they live in a bubble. Because they are alone, they are more likely to get into bad relationships. If that happens, they may not know where to turn for comfort. Fame can make people lonely and hurt their emotions. Stars may feel stuck in their marriage and think that leaving would only make them more alone and misunderstood. What keeps celebrities in bad marriages? Fear, hope, and loneliness shape their decisions. Let's uncover the truth behind it. Empowerment and moving on. Some stars don't stay with bad people for a long time. A lot of famous people have been able to let go and start over. Let's look at Jennifer Lopez. After bad relationships, like her marriage to singer Mark Anthony, she got stronger and more sure of herself. Then she moved on to better ones, like her new relationship with Ben Affleck. She learned that things can get better after a breakup, and it gave her a chance to start over and do well at work. A lot of well-known people, like Reese Witherspoon and Halle Berry, have left bad relationships and gone on to have great personal and professional lives. A lot of popular people get better with help from therapy, self-reflection, and strong friends and family. People can fix their low self-esteem, deal with pain from the past, and break bad habits in therapy. Stars can get their confidence and sense of self back with the right help. This will help them deal with their relationships better. Having upbeat, helpful family and friends around you is also very important for getting better. For those who have been through these painful things, letting go of the past and building a better future may help them become better people. Stories of great people who got away from abusive relationships can teach us all a lot. First, spotting warning signs early on could keep you from getting into a bad relationship in the first place. The best ways to keep your mental health safe are to trust your gut, set boundaries, and spend time with positive people. Second, it's important to know how important you are and that you deserve care that is kind, polite, and helpful. Keep in mind that you can leave bad situations and build a future where you are loved and cared for, even if it's hard to see because of how you feel or because of how busy your life is. Nobody can say for sure that things will never get better, but people who have moved on from bad marriages show that it is possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more, and be sure to click on the next video popping up on your screen for more fascinating stories.